mean, I kind of sent that message to Daniel in the middle of the night, where I'm in a very different time zone, so it's a little unfair. I guess I need some better night management.
Yes.
Which, if that seems like a stretch, like I said, none of these things have anything to do with each other, so the transitions are going to be rough. I'm sorry, folks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this series is nothing like our previous review or any of the other reviews that we're doing. Um, yeah, so I finally got around to watching season 2 of The Night Manager, which I was a little surprised that they did another season of it, because I think it's been like 10 years since the first season dropped.
Really?
Yeah, 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 I think it was like 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. Um, but because the show takes place 10 years after the first season, so that's why I kind of have that in my head. But yeah, I'll give like a brief overview of the first season, because it does tie into this season. So Tom Hiddleston plays Jonathan Pine, who is a Iraq War veteran, and he becomes a hotelier. And the show starts off where he's working at a 5-star hotel in Cairo, and it's this particular episode was set during the Arab Spring, and he gets
Oh,
uh, yeah, he gets word that a bad guy, a Terry, is buying a bunch of weapons from a British arms dealer named Richard Roper, who is played by Hugh Laurie, and he tries to stop it, but fails. And the mistress of the Terry, he gets romantically involved with the mistress of the bad guy, of the Terry, and she gets killed. And so he leaves. Of course, obviously he leaves that job in Cairo, and then he's in the Swiss Alps, working as working as a night manager at this resort in the Swiss Alps. And that's when Richard Roper shows up at the hotel. And so from there, Jonathan starts working with this MI6 agent named Angela Bennett, I think was her name. Birgit Bennett, I think. She was played by Olivia Colman, she's been in like a whole bunch of movies and TV shows over the years in Britain and everything. She actually played Queen Elizabeth in her middle years on The Crown, which is on Netflix. But he starts working with her. He infiltrates Roper's organization, and at the end of the season, it looks like they actually did get Roper by basically screwing over this deal that he had, and he gets taken away by a bunch of Syrians when the arms that he was selling to them blew up. Jonathan blew it up, and so the Syrians were out of their $300 million, which they managed to transfer the 300 million out of his account into another account. So that's where this season 1 ends. And then season 2, in the first episode, it takes place 4 years after that. And Jonathan and Angela are in Syria because Roper is dead. He was executed by his captors, and they're there in Syria to identify the body and make sure that he is dead. And of course, they only let one of them in there, and Jonathan tells Angela, well, you go in there and identify him. And she says, oh yeah, it's him. And so then we pick up 6 years after that. Jonathan is working, he's still working for MI6, but he's working under an alias. And his boss at MI6 is a guy named his name was Rex Mayhew, and he was in the first season. He worked with Angela, and he's the only one in the agency who knows who he really is. And so Jonathan is leading a team, surveillance team called Night Owls, and they're basically they sit in front of a computer looking at screens like you and me are right now, DB. and watching surveillance video of people coming in and out of a hotel, to say, okay, well, who's this guy? Who's that guy? Why are they there? And during one of these surveillance outings that Jonathan sees a guy who he recognizes as part of Roper's private army from years back. So he's like, okay, well, what's this guy doing here? And then he goes to his boss, Rex Mayhew. He goes to his house, and of course, Rex is having his 60th birthday party. And while Jonathan's at the house, he looks and he sees that Rex is talking to a young woman. And the young woman, by the way, is the one that's on Tom Hiddleston's to the right of Tom Hiddleston. And of course, Jonathan's like, oh, who's this woman? And he tells Rex about the guy that he saw, and Rex is like, oh, don't worry about it. That's the past. Got to let it go. All that. And but of course, Jonathan can't let it go. So he watches. So he starts surveilling the guy more. They start following him around, and he's talking to this like middleman. And during the conversation, the guy mentions that his boss is the quote unquote true heir to Richard, or a true disciple of Richard Roper. And as soon as Jonathan hears that, he's like, okay, I can't just ignore this. And as the episode progresses, he learns that MI6 is actually working with this new guy who's trying to take over, basically fill Roper's spot. And that's the guy to the left of Tom Hiddleston, and his name is Eduardo. I'm trying to remember his name. His full name is Eduardo, but everyone calls him Teddy. And it's sort of like with Richard Roper, where his name is Richard, but everyone calls him Dickie. His friends call him Dickie, and
except that that Dickie is actually short for Richard. I don't know where you get Teddy out of Eduardo.
Yeah, I don't know either. Teddy Kennedy, his name was Edward Kennedy, and they called him Teddy.
I guess that is an acceptable nickname.
Yeah,
learned something new today.
Yeah, Teddy DeSantos, and so now Jonathan's like going all in with this, and of course he's keeping his team in the dark because like there's only like so much he can tell them. So they track the bad guy to a hotel in Spain, Catalonia, I think, Catalonia, Spain, and they track him to this hotel, and then Teddy knows that his guy is being followed, and basically the proverbial excrement hits the fan. Jonathan's all but two of Jonathan's team members are killed. Jonathan himself is almost blown up, and so now this then leads Jonathan basically to have him go underground, and he infiltrates Teddy DeSantos' organization, much in the same way that he did with Roper. And the other part of it too is the woman that's on the image. Her name was Roxana, and she was a Colombian, but she grew up in America. She lives in Miami, so she's got this perfect American accent. She met with Jonathan's boss Rex because she was seeing a lot of irregularities because she's working with this like shipping company with Teddy. And she's, seeing these irregularities, and so she goes to Rex to tell him, and then Rex gets killed, and is made to look like a suicide. So that just also further motivated Jonathan. That happened before his team gets killed. There's a lot of stuff going on in that first episode. I mean, each episode, by the way, is an hour long, and there's 6 episodes, so it's a 6-hour movie basically.
Okay.
So then Jonathan goes off to Colombia and infiltrates Teddy's organization, and trying to find out what's going on. By the way, from here on, I'm going to be giving away spoilers. So if you don't always want to be spoiled and you want to watch the show, click off of it for now or mute or do whatever. But we find out that Teddy or Jonathan figures it out that Teddy is actually Richard Roper's illegitimate son. And you find that out that Richard Roper was having an affair with a married woman and got her pregnant. And so she gave him up, sent him away to an orphanage. But Roper would visit him occasionally. And not only that, but Roper was actually still alive. And he faked his death. And he basically blackmailed, or he threatened Angela. Threatened Angela and threatened her family that she needed to go along with him being dead, and say that when she looked at his body that, oh yeah, he's dead, because so that he could get out. And so then he's in Colombia, and we find out that he's shipping in a bunch of with the help from MI6, he's shipping in a bunch of weapons into Colombia, because he's funding this paramilitary group that's staging a coup. And the big part of that coup is that he's also got an EMP that he's going to set off. So now Jonathan has to obviously prevent all of that from happening. And there's a little bit of I don't want to say a love triangle, but like Jonathan gets, not only is he like attracted to Roxana, but there's also something going on with him and Teddy. There's a little Teddy is obviously bisexual. So yeah, there's something going on there. But I won't give away spoilers for how the season ends, but suffice to say, I hope they do another season, and I hope I don't have to wait another 10 years for it.
Yeah, was it actually 10 years?
Well, let me check real quick. Let's see. 10 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 2016. But because the ending, to borrow Marvel reference because of Tom Hiddleston, it's like Avengers Infinity War. That's how the ending felt. But yeah, I mean, it's not as good as the first season. I thought the first season had more intrigue and it had better characters. I mean, and I thought the twist of having Hugh Laurie coming back was a little sketchy. And there's some other stuff in there too that happens that's a little sketchy. Again, I don't want to give away too much, but but overall, it's still a decent watch. There might be a few moments here and there you might be a little uncomfortable, but I will say it's worth a watch, especially if you enjoyed the first season, just to see what happens with Jonathan and and Richard Roper and all that. But, yeah.
So it manages to have a lot of balls in the air at the same time, but also make you care about the characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That can be hard to pull off.
Yeah, that can be. Yeah.
I forget which service is this on again?
Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,